Hey there, FLEXIMOUNTS Overlanding here. It's about 95 degrees in my garage right now, but I have a very important project that I'm working on that I wanted to share with you guys because if you are like me, you have a bunch of overlanding gear and junk laying around everywhere, and you need a spot to store it, preferably one that's easy to access, but also out of the way when you don't need it. So today, I'm going to be showing you this winchable, raisable storage shelf from a company called FLEXIMOUNTS called the GL1. So again, I'm going to install it. I'm going to show you all that today. I'm going to kind of show it to you in action. I'm going to show you what I plan to put on it and how it's going to help me store more gear away. Now, whether you are a camper, overlander, and have camping gear or whatever, if you just have extra stuff laying around in your garage, this video should be helpful for you because, again, I'm going to share all the features. I'm going to show you this thing in action. So if you want to learn more about the FLEXIMOUNTS GL1, stay tuned.
Understand where it came from, but you got it, my got it. It began in the land of the sandstorm. I fought it, though I wanted everything to do with what you give to me. Loosening my grip.
All right, guys, so just wanted to start by showing you my horribly messy garage. Please don't judge me. But if you have a garage that looks anything like this, like I just have camping gear sitting everywhere, tents, and I got a new pressure washer for Father's Day that my kids got me, which was awesome. I've got extra bumpers and stuff off my old truck sitting in here, a box for my new Top Oak rooftop tent. And I just have a bunch of tools and a bunch of parts and camping gear and stuff like that. But I do have a ton of extra space up here towards the roof. So what my plan is to use this FLEXIMOUNTS GL1, which is basically just a winchable, manual winchable storage shelf to put all my seasonal camping gear on and then raise it up to the ceiling where it'll be out of the way when I'm not using it. And then when the seasons change, when you go from summer to fall, then I can lower this thing down. I can swap out all my summer stuff for my fall and winter stuff and then make that change. But this will give me a really nice place to store all that stuff out of the way, but still accessible if I need it, thanks to this hand winch thing here that I'm going to show you as I get it mounted. Okay, so probably the trickiest part so far was just holding this up on myself. I had my wife come out and use like a broom to sort of push the other side up while I taped it. And so I'm lined up with the stud that it runs along the edge of this like sort of outcropping, I guess, up here. And then where that X is up there is where the corresponding 48-inch apart stud is. So I think that I'm in pretty good shape now. I just need to put my brackets up there and mark the holes and then drill some pilot holes, put the screws through, pull this template down, obviously. And then once you get that up, then we'll proceed to the next step. All right, so I'm working on installing this. It's actually not been too bad. The trickiest part was getting the template up onto the roof by myself, like I mentioned. Once you kind of get that, not too bad. Again, I think that the tolerances are probably okay on these front because it's a pulley-based system. Obviously, you don't want to be like inches off, but I think if they're a little crooked or if they're a little bit, half inch in or out, because it's just going to be a wire that goes around them, I think you're going to be fine. So we will find out here in a second, but I've got these mounted up. I did want to show you, I bought these cool little socket heads. I've been seeing them all over TikTok, the Toolent ones. And they're pretty cool, but so I'll put a link in the description of the ones that I bought. They were really reasonable, like 60 or 70 bucks for a whole set of them. They look like this. They come in a whole case and you get just a ton of them. But that has been saving me a ton of time because I've just been able to use this to drive them most of the way in. You do want to drill your pilot holes a little bit deeper than you might first think. I kind of drilled mine a little shallow, and then I was only getting maybe halfway through the bolt before it would kind of hang up with this thing, and then I'm using a socket wrench to just tighten them all the way down. And so I think if you drill your pilot holes a little bit longer, that will help you be able to use this more and do less manual labor. So just a tip. But I'm going to hop up here. I've got one more bolt left on this one here. I just wanted to kind of show you this thing in action. I'm going to drive it in here really quick. But again, link in the description below to this as well as this FLEXIMOUNTS thing because it's pretty cool. So here goes the tool. These are 13 mil bolt heads, by the way, just if that helps. So, but again, then once you get it driven up in there, I've got maybe 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Then I'm just using the 13 mil socket on a wrench and just driving them the rest of the way home by hand. But as you bolt this thing on, you can tell just how well made it is and how heavy duty they are. They can hold up to 300 pounds. So anyways, we're going to finish up attaching all these. Then we're going to move on to the next step. We'll be installing the axle/gear shaft up here on the back. The nice thing about that, though, is that it's made to extend. So I kind of wondered about that as I was affixing the back brackets. I'm like, am I going to have to take one of these off? But what you do is you put the left side in with the gearbox into that bracket over there, and then you extend the bar out, and then as it comes across, it slides into the right-hand bracket, and then you basically bolt it into that bracket so that it doesn't move. And that's how you attach it. And then we're going to attach our wire through to the pulleys. We're going to attach a couple pieces of metal to give a framework to the shelf itself. And then we're going to be attaching that using some J hooks to the bottom. And that's what's going to support the whole thing. And again, then you can crank this thing up and down, raise it up with your gear on it, put it back down when you want to get access to your gear. It's actually really, really cool. Now, one thing to note is that they do say that the side with the sort of the gear on it needs to go on the left side. So as you're looking towards the back, it needs to go on the left. This just extends. So all that you're doing is you're just pushing this out. Oh yeah, perfect. Until it goes in there, and then you make sure both of them are stretched out, just like that. Pretty easy, actually. Now there's bolts that come with it that you need to attach to then sort of lock this in place in that bracket. And then after that, we're gonna run our cables through the pulleys. We're gonna attach our shelf, and then that's pretty much it. So let me skip the boring putting in the bolts here part. I'm gonna do that now, and then I'll be right back with you. All right, so just to kind of catch you up here. So basically what I did was I've got these all extended out. There is one bolt that goes right there and gets tightened down with an Allen head. And then on the other side, there is another, and it's the same on both sides. So you've got another pair of Allens over there. That is what attaches this to that bracket that you've already installed in the ceiling. Now, one thing that I'm not sure about, and I will reach out to them and I'll update in the comments and the description down below, is it says to make sure that both holes are showing. And there was a hole here. And then you put your bolt that's marked as B through here with a lock nut on the other side. But it shows that there's supposed to be a hole over here. Now, I've even pulled this thing all the way out of the bracket and like stretched it as far as I can, extended it as much as possible. And I don't see another hole over here anywhere. There's just not a hole. Now, I think that the purpose of these is to keep this from like sliding back in. Like if, let's say that those two bolts came loose and this thing started trying to slide in, it's going to prevent it from doing that. That's the only thing that I can think. But so again, I don't think it's super necessary, but I will reach out to them and then I'll update you guys if I get an update. But I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to keep going. But just so you know, if you get it to get both holes, just put your bolt and your nut through there, and that is what you're supposed to do. I only have the one hole, so we'll find out. So now next, what we're going to do is I'm going to snip these little plastic zip ties, and you're going to see that one of these is longer than the other one. The longer one, which I believe is this one that's hanging down further, actually runs up through those pulleys and then down. And then after we do that, on both sides here, then we are going to assemble our little wire grid down there with those two bars. You see those two black bars down there? We are actually going to attach those to the front and the back and attach those to that grid. And then from there, all we're doing is we're going to attach these big bolts here through the supports for that grid. And once that's done, then we're pretty much done. We just have to then attach the handle, which is laying on the floor there, to the crank. And then we will be putting that up here, removing, this is like a safety latch to keep it from moving. You pull that down and it will remove that. And then you can put your crank through here and you can turn this. Then that's what actuates this gearbox in this pulley system that will lower and raise your thing. And then that will be it. We'll be all done. We'll be able to raise this thing up and lower it down and fill it full of gear. So now one more tip / note here is you do want to make sure that these do not get wound up. So, you can kind of see this one goes to right down there. This one is definitely clearly shorter, so it is pretty obvious which one is the longer one. Another note too is that the longer one is the one with this sticker on it that says when installing the wire deck frame, ensure wire ropes are not tangled. But so you do just the longer ones, they kind of tend to come from the inside. So your black one comes out the inside and your silver one comes out from the inside. So just make sure that these aren't crossed over, that these don't cross, because at first mine was kind of like wrapped around like that. So I ran these through the middle so that the longer ones come from the middle out. So hopefully that helps. So now we are going to do the other side, same exact thing. I'm going to cut the zip ties and we're going to hook this up and be good to go. So now at this point, you've got all your lines run. They should be about equidistant. So the ones in the back that are shorter should be about the same height as the front ones, which makes sense because that's what's going to keep that level, right? So in my case, because I'm installing it kind of over some other storage stuff, what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to get the handle assembled, and I'm going to raise this whole thing up to about here-ish, about eye level for me, so that I can come and load stuff and then raise it up from there. But it also means less cranking with the weight on it, which is a little easier. But again, as you can see, this thing is down. Like if I lowered this right now, it's going to hit my tool bench and stuff. So like my plan is just to lower it to about eye level. All right, so now for the wireframe itself, pretty straightforward. You've got two slightly bigger holes on the end. That's where your big bolts that are attached to the wires are going to go through this to hold this whole thing up. And then what you're going to do, though, is you're going to use these J-hooks dropped down through these smaller holes with a nut on the bottom to then attach this to that. So now one tip is you're actually going to rest this on top of it. So that's what's going to hold it, right? So I'm setting it up on top of there now. Then I'm going to drop my J-hook down through that hole and put a nut on the bottom. And then that J-hook is going to sort of sandwich the metal grid down, and that's what's going to attach it and hold all the weight of your gear. So what I'm going to do is I've just got this little stool here. I'm just going to set this thing up on top of it, just so that it's sort of off the ground and I have access to the bottom of the J-hook, so that then I can put my nut on there. I'm testing. Everything so far has been a 13. This one is smaller, so you're going to need a different sized ratchet. Or they do provide you with this tool. You get this thing that you can put an Allen wrench through, and you can use it like almost like a tire iron. I'm just going to find the right size socket and use one of my own sockets just to make it a little bit easier. So just for reference, it is a 10 mil for the J hooks. Also seems to help if you do more than one at once to kind of keep it from flipping and sliding around on you. So I'm just going to get all three of them kind of finger tight, kind of started here. Then all we have to do is tighten it down. All right, so we've got our grid all attached. The next step is to get this thing up onto these cables. Now, I'm by myself. My wife is gone, so I do not have a second set of hands. If you had a second set of hands, I feel like you could get one person on one side and one on the other, drop these bolts through and just get a nut sort of finger tight on the bottom of it to hold it up, and then just go around and tighten them all. What I think I'm going to do, because I'm all by my lonesome currently, is I'm going to just like lift a corner. So I'm going to make sure that I've got it lined up, right? So you want your support brace on the bottom, right? So this bar part that is facing away from the camera right now is going to go on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this thing, and of course I've got all this junk on the floor too. If you didn't have a bunch of junk on the floor, it'd be easier for you. But I'm going to turn this thing like this, and then essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one pin through this corner, then I'm going to get that one with a nut on it, and I'm going to put one pin through this corner, then I'm going to lift it up, put one pin through that. I'm just going to go around one by one. I'm going to kind of attach them one by one so that they're supported by the cables, and then once I have all four cables on, then I can tighten down all the nuts. Now they do give you 2 nuts for these, so that's basically how you're going to lock them in place. You're going to put the one nut up as tight as you can go, and then you're going to put a second nut on that and tighten that into the first nut so that it creates like a locking nut to keep it from sliding or moving down. And then that's it. We're done for that. So bear with me here while I figure out how to do this by myself. But if you are by yourself too, again, I'm hopeful that this is helpful. This last bit, these are the things that are in the bag marked D. Those are your nuts, multiple nuts. You have 8 nuts, and then you have 4 washers. Now these are 13s again, just FYI, so we're back to the 13s. All right, so this right here is my first corner, and I want this bolt to drop down through this corner, so I'm just going to do that, kind of let the wire support it. And then I'm going to put my washer on, and then I'm going to put my first nut on. So again, I'm just going to get this first one tightened down here. Remember, you got to think about which direction you're facing. So like, again, this is, the bottom is where my J bolts stick through. So I also want this big eye bolt to stick through that side as well. So since I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and do the second nut too at the same time, just because why not? I have to come down and do it. Don't want to have to do it twice. So just going to tighten that, snug it up into the other one. That's good and tight. Okay. So then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Tighten this down. And then again, we're going to just repeat, right? We're going to do this all the way around to all 4 corners. So give me just a second and I'll be right back with you. All right, guys, so that'll do it. It is done. Wasn't too bad. Again, aside from sort of lining up the template at the top and making sure you're hitting joists, that's the hardest thing, is finding those cross members to attach to. But once you do that, it's pretty straightforward. And if it wasn't 95 degrees, it'd be a lot easier. And so now I'm going to just show you this. I'm going to load this up. I've got a big family tent. I've got a hammock. I've got a bunch of other random camping gear sitting around everywhere that has been taking up room and causing it to be difficult to walk through the garage. So I'm going to stack this thing full of gear, and then I'm going to crank it up and show you guys that in action, and then we'll finish this video. So let's get it loaded. So now it does say it can hold 300 pounds, but it does mention that it needs to be evenly distributed. So you don't want to put a ton of heavy stuff on one side or the other. That was probably a 30-pound air compressor. This tent probably weighs 15 or 20 pounds. So I'm going to try and get some heavy stuff on the other side there too. This hammock doesn't weigh much, but I'm going to put some more stuff on here. This thing probably weighs about 10 pounds. It's my shower, portable shower. Now again, my location and having all these bumpers and things on the ground makes this difficult, but again, my thought is only to bring it down about this far so that I don't have to crank it up and down as much. And then I can sneak underneath of it, move stuff around back there, and get my stuff situated. So, but you know, think about where you're going to put it before you put it up, obviously, because it could save you some time and effort. Some traction boards, they're pretty heavy too. I mean, I'm testing this thing, right? We're going to put some weight on it. Camping gear's heavy. Of course we do. Let me go move this shower. Now, they do mention, just for safety, not to go under it and stuff, so just pretend like I didn't do that. This chair is pretty awesome, but I don't need it every day. I'm just going to throw that on top here. And the last thing is this big box of electronics. This probably weighs, I don't know, 40 pounds. But these are for future projects. So again, not something I need right this second. I mean, I bet that I've got 150, 200 pounds on this thing right now. And as you can see, it's doing just fine. So I'm going to sneak around to the back. I'm going to crank it up, get it closer to the ceiling. But this is going to get a ton of stuff that was taking up a lot of room in my garage out of the way. And then when I need it, I can just crank it down and get access to it. But I don't use this stuff very often, so it's really convenient to have it be able to be out of the way like this. As you can see, there's plenty of room to walk through. Of course, you do want to be careful if for some reason this let go, or if you didn't do a good job getting it attached, you don't want it to fall on you. But it seems very, very stable, and it's handling a couple of 100 pounds pretty great. So anyways, that will do it for the FLEXIMOUNTS GL1. As you can see, for the money, I think this thing's like less than 200 bucks. It's pretty inexpensive. Despite having to do a little bit of labor to put it together and stuff, I think it's definitely worth it in the long run because, again, this is something I'm going to access 2, maybe 3 times a year. So I'm not going to be using this thing all the time. But so to be able to have this stuff up out of the way, using space that previously was unused, but storing a ton of my gear that I don't need that much, that's a game changer. That saves me so much room in my garage. So anyways, that is the FLEXIMOUNTS GL1. If you have any questions or anything, post up in the comments down below. As I mentioned, I will put links to the GL1 down there. I'll put a link to that toolant socket set for your drill that makes this way easier. There will also be links to all my social channels. So wherever you want to come hang out, I'd love to have you. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I've got a podcast that I do every couple of weeks. Check that out as well. Also below this video is a join button, which is just a passive way to support the channel. It gets you early access to the videos and some other perks. But if you want to be more involved with all things overlanding, there's also a link to my Patreon group down below. And for all the paid members, you get access to a 24/7 Discord where we all chat about our rigs and our gear and all that sort of stuff. We also do a once-a-month Zoom call, and we're getting together for a trip once or twice a year, which has proven to be a ton of fun. We went through a tornado in Kentucky, had to chop through a bunch of trees with our chainsaws, and it turned into a really epic trip. So if you want to be a part of that, click through the Patreon link. There's also a link to my website where I've got funny overlanding camping theme patches and stickers, things like "Don't burn your wiener and it's a hot dog," or "I hate people so I camp." So if those sound good, check those out. And then, of course, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I do a couple of videos every week, so there's tons of content here for overlanders or people that are into gear or anything like that. I do a lot of budget stuff and do-it-yourself type stuff. So if you're into that, make sure to click that subscribe button. And then last but not least, there's a link to my Facebook group called Newbie Overlanders, where we all kind of work to help each other. There's no bullying. It's a bunch of experienced overlanders and new overlanders that work together to help each other get into overlanding and outfit their rigs. So if that sounds good, check that out. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts, or if you have something like this, I'd love to hear from you, and we'll see you next time.